AEW, WWE head-to-head on a Friday night. WWE's A show against AEW's B show, and Tony Khan ain't having none of this, as he announced on WFAN radio a huge pivot from his side of the pro wrestling ratings war. Speaking of Tony Khan, doesn't seem like he doesn't want to get fiendish anytime soon. And we'll also talk about the relaunch of the nerdiest TV channel that ever existed. It's back. And Xavier Woods is going to be a part of it. G4. We're getting into all of it on today's Sportskeeda Wrestling Top Story of the Day. Share that link, or you stink.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is another day where we have a ton of wrestling news. I am Kellam. That is Jose G. Down in Florida, my White Sox are about to be eliminated from the playoffs, and I'm aggravated.
Hey, I don't want to hear about it. My Rays lost last night, bro. They're out.
Your Rays are feeling it. All right, let's get out of baseball. Who needs real sports? We got fake sports, baby. We're gonna get into it.
Predetermined, Kevin. Predetermined sports.
If you haven't done already, go ahead and subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling on YouTube. We have marched past 21,000. We are nearing 22,000. Join the club. Exclusive interviews. We just dropped one just yesterday with Dominic Mysterio talking about the ideal scenario that he wants to have with his father at WrestleMania and how he wanted a mask. All right. Tip of the cap to Fightful for running that story as well from our interview today. Thank you so much, Bobby DeFelice. Miss you, bud. All right. Also, we have an interview up with Drew McIntyre from last week. Those are up on the channel right now. A fresh episode of Legion of Raw. Bro, with Vince Russo. Bro. He had a lot to say. He has a lot to say as well about the new Escape the Undertaker Netflix special. So you can check out those videos.
You know what? I haven't been able to watch it because apparently on my Apple TV, it doesn't work. It's not interactive with my Apple TV. It's the interactive
element. I think I'm going to do it before.
I'm going to call BS on that.
I'm going to do, I was thinking about this, but if you guys feel we should do this, maybe we should do a watch along. And like you guys choose the things I do as I try to escape the Undertaker.
That might be a cool idea. Maybe for Halloween, that would be cool. But let's jump into some of these stories, bros.
Let's jump into it. We have a lot to talk about today, and a lot of things that'll aggravate people. Whether if you love some internet tribalism, if you love arguing AEW and WWE,
Friday's going to be. Oh my God, the tribalism is going to be. Yes, it's going to be out there.
It's going to be interesting here. We also have Vince Russo on our channel throwing out wagers and bets on what the ratings are going to be. We got people yelling, watch out, watch out. But let's jump into this story here. AEW and WWE are going to go head to head this Friday night for about 30 minutes. At least that's what we thought of until today. The reason this is interesting is SmackDown usually airs on network television and pulls fairly strong numbers. I know there's been talk that Fox Network would like more viewers, but they understand kind of things have been different with the pandemic and people are accustomed. But it's also worth noting that it is the highly performing show for its demographic on network TV. Now, on Friday nights, you also have Rampage, which is AEW show, which is positioned to air after SmackDown, and it has been getting ratings drops recently, and is performing around the between 550 to 700,000 number for the past month or so. It's not
near the like highs 446 recently.
Yeah, it's not near the highs it once was with CM Punk showing up on the second episode and doing all these different things. And you've had Punk wrestle on the show since then. So there's been some odd things here. Then you throw in these MLB playoffs that we mentioned here at the top of the show. Those are creating preemptions with the TV partners of both WWE and AEW. Fox Network going to be running MLB playoffs on Friday night. So what happens to SmackDown? It moves over to Fox Sports cable channel FS1, which would then put it into, in terms of television ratings, direct, not indirect competition, but direct competition with AEW.
It's on
for the cable TV ratings. So if you want to get into what these ratings are, so here we go. AEW will now announced today by Tony Khan on WFAN radio out of the East Coast that they're going to have a buy-in. They're going to do what they would do for basically a pay-per-view. They're going to do before this show airs at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. They're going to have a buy-in that will feature Bryan Danielson, the best wrestler in the world, versus the toughest SOB out of Japan, Minoru Suzuki. And this will be on free on YouTube, which is kind of crazy that AEW would give this match away and not pivot or put it on television later that night. So it's very interesting move here by them to do this. The Rampage episode will feature Bobby Fish versus the new indie hot darling Lee Moriarty, who's recently signed with AEW. So I was surprised that Bryan Danielson wouldn't be utilized for this, but obviously Tony Khan not having any of it. He's been tweeting up a storm saying, "Yeah, bring it on. I'm gonna beat your top show. I'm gonna do this." And of course, obviously that just stirs the pot. I think Khan knows what he's doing. To stir the pot, at least.
Listen, I gotta tell. It's funny. There's a friend of mine that's over on Lucha Libre Online. His name is Mike Dagger. I'm gonna take a line of his, and I'm gonna look at the camera and be like, "Tio Tony, Uncle Tony, what's wrong with you, Bobby? What's wrong?" Like, I don't understand this move. Like, I understand that he wants to kind of like respond to WWE,
yeah,
but I feel because you're bringing Brock Lesnar, this is technically their go-home show for Crown Jewel, right?
Yeah, so it's worth noting this show is going to air before Crown Jewel, so they're going to do some big things on it. Brock Lesnar will be on this show. You're also getting Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, and you're getting a lot of different things on this SmackDown show, maybe even more. And SmackDown's going to have an extra 30 minutes, so that was the conflict as well. As they said, there was going to be a super SmackDown. Oh, if you're going to be tuning in and there's going to be this loop where you're going to have people tune into their Fox station, that's their network TV station, they don't see WWE. All right, we'll tune over to FS1. That's where it is tonight, and you're getting an extra half hour because of the shakeup. And also, WWE want to take a shot at AEW. Obviously, this is competition. This is what you want. Now, who's going to come out on top? I really don't know, and I wonder if WWE is going to change something about what they do on Friday night.
I don't know what's going to happen. And what I can tell you is this, though.
You're getting something big in that crossover hour. There's no way you're not.
There's going to be something really noticeable on both sides, not only on Minoru Suzuki and Daniel Bryanson between 9:30 and 10. We're going to get between 9 and 10. We're going to get some really I'm anticipating that we're going to get some pretty cool TV between both WWE and AEW. But I honestly feel like AEW should just really concentrate on their show instead of be like, "Oh yeah, well, we're gonna start half an hour early on YouTube." I just feel like that's such a petty thing, and I feel like that's also it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's like you're just doing this just to poke the bear. Just mind your own show, mind your own company.
Paul Savage saying we don't need any more money at wars between WWE and AEW. Well, you're going to have them. That's the world we're in. People are going to compare them, you know. And AEW got the lead here on Wednesday nights, and that's their night. But do they want to be in this position where, you know, they're on Friday nights? Rampage was put in that position on Friday nights to pivot off of the big audience that SmackDown's been able to grow over the last few months, right? That's what they're there for. And they're designed to be the cable alternative to WWE on their night. If you're already watching TV, here we are. Let's do another TV contract. Let's have another show, right? And also the timing of it is kind of odd. You have these preemptions. You know, Fox, when SmackDown was on Fox, it did around 1 million, did around 800, 900,000 viewers. That's a big drop off for them from what they did, but that's not what Rampage is doing. You know, Rampage is doing not near that. So I think there's definitely WWE smelled some blood in the water. Said, all right, well, if we're going to do some preemptions, maybe we can cut into your number and prove to some people, wow, like look what happens here. And I'm surprised when you have Bryan Danielson, a huge star that jumped over from WWE against a dream match opponent, Minoru Suzuki, for hardcore fans, that even if you're a casual fan, you've heard the name Minoru Suzuki, you know it's a big deal. You know it's not just he's fighting somebody from, Dark Elevation or one of their lower card guys. He's not. This is a pay-per-view match. And they're doing it on free internet stuff. So I love the competition, you know, like no matter what show comes out on top here. And also SmackDown's going to bring a big audience. They're going to do something big. WWE's going to see this move today, and they're going to pull out all the stops here. Let us know what you're going to watch. We're going to be asking this all week long here. Are you going to be watching SmackDown? Are you going to watch an AEW? Are you going to watch both?
Are you going to simultaneously do both? I've done that.
I think plenty of people do both.
Back in my day, during the Wednesday Night Wars,
they have 2 televisions. And then you had to run
my
from one
iPad
room to the
and
other
my
television.
TV and my laptop running at the same time. These damn
Well, now
kids don't
you
know
can
how
do
to
that now.
do this.
So a lot of people chiming in with their takes here. Let me know what you're going to be watching. We want to see here. And other people texting in saying they're going to watch both.
I understand this is good for competition, especially in that time slot, right? But as a fan, it really pisses me off because as a fan, I don't want to be forced to watch one product over another. I want to be able to digest and consume the product how I want it at the time that is being broadcasted. So if you're telling me, okay, SmackDown's between this time and this time,
there were a lot of fans that felt that way with NXT. There are a lot of fans that felt that way when NXT moved to Tuesday. They're like, yeah, sure, whatever. They still exist. It's still a great show, and I can watch.
But it's just easier to digest.
Yeah,
easier to digest. Let's get into our second story because it kind of ties in to Tony Khan's announcement earlier today on WFAN in New York, where he was asked a question about one Bray Wyatt. Everybody's been talking, everybody's been anticipating and rumoring and speculating about
rumoring. What is the rumoring about here?
Is Bray Wyatt gonna go to AEW?
Yeah.
Is he gonna go? Is he gonna go? Well, today we have a very vague answer from Tony Khan.
It is an update, but I wouldn't call it like a clear. It's
very open. It's very vague. All he said is, quote, during his interview, he says, quote, he's a great wrestler, and I have to be honest, we haven't talked at all. I know him in the personal life, but in reality, we haven't talked. But you never know, end quote. So,
do you buy that?
I don't know. I have a feeling. Where we may see Wyatt come back to WWE. I don't think he's going to wrestle anywhere else, to be honest. I've been saying this for months. I think he's going to do stuff on the side. He's more than well off that he can do. I know he was talking about doing some horror stuff, doing some farming stuff. I honestly see him back in WWE. I really don't see him in AEW.
If he wrestles,
I could eat my words, but I just really feel like he's a WWE guy.
I also think, what is the bandwidth that AEW has for a guy like that who's going to...
He's very character driven. He's very
character driven. Also, there's a lot of production elements with him. Not to say that AEW can't do those things, right? That if you do a character like that, it's going to be a lot of vignettes and not a lot of wrestling. And I don't know if that syncs up with their brand. I don't know if that's something their fan would love. You know, when they want everything done in the ring, in front of the lights, on a microphone. You can cut promos, you can do wild stuff. They did some, Cody and Arn this week in the front lawn and things like that. But with the Bray character, you kind of have to do that all the time. And that's the character. And I can tell you that from talking to people that wrote for the character. I talked to some people on WWE writing staff in the past 2 months. And I said, well, where do you think he lands? And they said, oh, he could go to AEW, but it'd have to be a completely new character. I mean, not to say you couldn't do some of that stuff, but are you going to do you want to do a diet version of The Fiend? No, because The Fiend is the entrance and the music and the lights and all these different things.
Spectacle.
And does WWE own the name The Fiend? Yes. Do they probably own the mask and what that mask looks like? 100%. So you're going to have to do a completely new version of that. Is that going to satisfy those fans? With Bryan Danielson, you're getting Daniel Bryan. His gimmick is, I'm a great wrestler and I'm really passionate about it. CM Punk owns his name and you know who he is. With Bray Wyatt, the thing I think people got to forget is a lot of it is a WWE, not to say that he didn't create it, but it's a WWE like licensed created deal. They were a part of the machine of creating that thing from the get-go, from writing it, from the characters and the merchandise and all those different things. I almost think the best version of him would be back in WWE. Now, do they want him back is a whole other story. And do they have room to bring him back is a whole other story.
Yeah, and I think also because of these budget cuts, right? I don't think it's anything that he did per se, but, with everything that's going on, they're going to Saudi Arabia. They're going to make a ton of money. Who's to say that they would re-sign him? They probably would. They have a history of re-signing people, high profile people. And I just honestly think that he will probably be better just going back to WWE at some point down the road. just like you said, I don't know if they're gonna
The
book him
internet's
well
not
in
going to
AEW.
like that. You have to tell them what they want to hear.
I'm not
right?
gonna tell them what they want to hear, Kevin. I'm the opposition. I'm the revolution.
Yes, you're an apologist, right? Victor Nash texting in here, saying I guess he seems Bray, will be a great fit over at the Dark Order. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that. Now, Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper, was a part of the Wyatt family faction under Bray Wyatt for many, many years in WWE. Brody Lee goes over to AEW. He's revealed as the leader of the Dark Order and has a big run. So everyone thinks, oh, just bring Bray over. Here's the thing. It's collective fantasy booking. You know what I mean? It's collective fantasy booking. I heard the same amount of people say, oh, Bo Dallas and Bray, they're brothers. They should be a team. They should be a team. They should be a team. They were never a team, right? It just didn't happen. Another example of this, Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan in the early 90s when Rick was in WWE, they did some big matches. They taped some of them. They ran Madison Square Garden once or twice, but they never got to have a big pay-per-view match, and they never had a WrestleMania. A lot of fans said, how come you didn't do Flair Hogan? How come you didn't do Flair Hogan? Well, they tried some version of it off TV, and they didn't like it, and they didn't want to put it on pay-per-view, right? For whatever reason, right? Some of these things just don't come together, and I don't think fantasy booking is something that always gets fulfilled. Also, that I don't think that means it could get fulfilled. You know, there's probably a lot of logistics as to why this isn't going to happen, but who knows? And maybe Tony Khan's being really coy and saying, "Well, I'm talking about Bray Wyatt." You know, you could be, if you brought up William Rotunda, that's a whole different story. He could do
be
that.
A smart ass like that.
Yeah, and also I don't think
semantics. Okay, semantics, Kevin.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't think the AEW audience would love being worked like that. And then all the WWE folks, man.
I thought you said we did talk to Bray Wyatt.
Tyrone Randall says here. Tyrone Randall says, I love WWE. I don't love AEW. I've been watching WWE since the 2010s. And I'm not giving up on it. All right. So he's staying loyal despite what the internet tells him here. All right. So you're in there here. Ben Richardson texting in with us over here on YouTube. Thank you so much, Ben. If you haven't done it, go ahead and hit that like button. All right, go ahead and subscribe if you've done it. If Bray goes back to WWE, I still won't watch because WWE will screw him over creatively. Well, Ben, I know there's plenty of fans that feel that Bray Wyatt never really got to be the top of the card and get the big wins. And then he lost to Goldberg, so they screwed him, right? Well, then he was in all these other big matches. The thing about the character of Bray Wyatt is everyone thinks if you don't have him win matches, you're screwing him over. Yet you still cared about Bray Wyatt after he lost to Goldberg. And you still had the Alexa Bliss thing and the Randy Orton thing. Did it pay off? Well, no. But the ride on TV is something that a lot of people paid attention to. And a lot of people paid attention to it. Not just the hardcore fan, the casual fan. And whether or not you want to agree with it, that is the truth. I'm not saying that he was a big needle mover, but people cared and people tuned in for it. And Firefly Funhouses maybe were repetitive, but they were a huge part of what WWE was doing in the pandemic and the cinematic matches and different things like that. The Swamp match was bad, but those are all things that WWE loves to produce, and casual fans will give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, they'll talk about how it sucked, right? So, I mean, with Bray, I just think the platform for him is in WWE. I think if he went to AEW, there'd still be some fantastic stuff they could do with him. And this would be like that would line up with what the Dark Order isn't a spooky faction anymore.
They're not.
They're
a
a field. They're
faction.
No, they're fun wrestling nerds that argue with each other.
That's what takes away from it. And I have this argument all the time with Rico on the debrief that I want that Dark Order. I want that dark, spooky,
But then you have to revert from that.
Evil Uno sitting on guys squatting on all fours.
Yeah,
because it's
like
creepy.
They tried it though. They tried it, and it didn't work. So they tried it, and it didn't work. And let's bring in Brody Lee, and then it got good. All right, and then that was what it was supposed to be, right? But it got too silly on the being the elite thing, so they had to go with what the fans wanted, right? If you're joining us, this is Top Story. We do this every weekday right around this time. A live show with different news stories. We keep it tight under about a half an hour or so. We do a long form show every Thursday called Inside Cradle. We have Vince Russo with us every Monday night. Wednesday nights, we have the debrief with that guy right over there covering AEW and NXT. And then we'll have a very odd edition tonight of AEW Rampage and SmackDown post show called Smack Talk with Dutch Mantel, the legendary Dutch Mantel, bringing his multiple decades here into the film here. People want to see Bray get into horror films. I agree with that. I think he could be the next Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, if he really wanted to. That'd be really cool.
Man, I've been
if you had a wrestler become like a horror icon, you know?
Hell yeah, dude. I've been watching tons of horror stuff this week.
Oh man, I'm way
over
behind.
the weekend. Oh man, I just watched this really cool one that you would absolutely enjoy. It's called Deathgasm. It's a movie from
This is the metal band that like
yes,
has like I've heard about.
Yeah, they open up. Yeah, they sing this song and they unleash demons and they got to kill them. It's pretty cool. So go ahead and check it out. It's on New Zealand. But let's jump into our third story because
Get it up.
We talked about this several months ago and it is about to go down. G4 is back, Kevin. I don't know if you are a video game head, but I certainly am. And I am excited for this because G4 was my national pastime back in the mid to late 2000s. This is what I would watch on a 24/7 all the way around. And it's coming back in November. We're going to get Xavier Woods is going to be the host of G4 on it's going to be on various different channels. So guys, if you currently are subscribed to any cable service of the major ones, or are even subscribed to any of these streaming services, you will be able to get G4. It will be available November 16th. It will be airing on Verizon Fios, on Cox, on Infinity TV, Philo, and Twitch. So those are the available outlets where it's going to be now.
Not on Peacock.
Not on Peacock. Not on Spectrum, not on any of the other major cable news.
It's an NBC Universal production. So this is one of their channels. This was their channel before. And they merged with Xfinity Comcast and now are one company. And this was strictly an Xfinity Comcast channel. And them as a cable company had a cable channel and they did this. It was successful for a while and then it kind of weaned off very, very fast. Had some big stars on it. Olivia Munn started on this with the Attack of the Show, which was basically like a weekday vlog in a studio with video game stuff and video game culture, but it was also like weird web videos. They also had Web Soup with Chris Hardwick. They had a lot of really good shows on this and fun things that were like internet nerd. If you're of, Xenial, Generation X, Generation Z, I think you'd really like this. I think it's really cool that Xavier Woods gets to do this. He's the perfect guy for it.
He really is. And when he becomes King of the Ring, he will be the royalty in G4.
I love the moment with him on Monday at Raw, posing near the crown, like not like getting really close to it, but not like
I always have a thing. Like when people whenever there's a contender,
don't touch it.
I always don't touch the belt, don't touch the crown.
Jinder put the crown on, he posed with it. It's bad luck, dude.
He's done.
You're done.
He's done.
No way.
Nope.
Not going to happen here. Let us know who your picks are for the King of the Ring. Who do you think is still in the mix? Been some surprises, some letdowns though with the Queen's Crown tournament. I heard a lot of fans being very upset with how those matches about how those matches haven't really gotten a lot of meat on the bone. And the men's matches have gotten significantly more time with their tournament, which is kind of congruent here. Let's hope they can do a little bit more with that the next week.
Although Dewdrop's match with Natalia on Monday, I mean, they gave it a pretty good amount of time. That wasn't too bad. But Friday night certainly was not good. I mean, you had one match that was under 2 minutes and another one just over 2 minutes. So it certainly was not good. And I'm sure WWE's taking notice and hopefully they rectify that this Friday.
We'll find out. And of course, how much WWE G4 merging are we going to see here with Xavier Woods and his
in the next coming weeks? Maybe this
sense.
Is like his. Yes, absolutely. The launch is coming in November. Survivor Series is right around the corner. You got this King of the Ring that's going to be finalizing at Crown Jewel next week in Saudi Arabia. So I think this is. I'm really pulling for Woods. I really want this for Woods. I know how long he's been wanting this. And he's been publicly saying it for years, since 2016. And I think this is his moment. I think this is his time.
The thing is, WWE does these things, right? And they build them up, but you could really make it heel.
And then they take it away from you.
And they take it away from you. You could really make a heel, right? You could really make a heel out of this. I do think they did some cool things with the King of the Ring, like Nakamura taking off because he's been selling himself as a taking off Corbin, who had the crown before. I did like that they did that that was like, yeah, you're the Intercontinental Champion. You don't need the crown. Can you relinquish the crown so we can do this with the tournament? I thought that was nice. Like, it didn't really demote. It didn't demote Nakamura that much. He's still the IC champion, you know. So I thought that was reasonable. Some interesting matchups here. Some fun matches so far. Some surprises. The men's side has been a lot better than the women. I just think WWE is just giving the men a little bit more in terms of their tournament. It's odd that they're on at the same time. I will say it does make the matches mean more. I was more attentive to what was happening on Monday Night Raw this week because the matches have stakes, winners and losers, right? So that's kind of why I like tournaments. You get winners and losers. Let us know who you think should win the King of the Ring. Who do you want to win the King of the Ring? Who do you want to win the Queen of the Ring tournament? You know, I'm calling that. That's what everyone tells me I'm supposed to do.
The Queen's crown.
Beyond brand. If you haven't done already, go check out that Dominic Mysterio interview, that Drew McIntyre interview. They're up now. Just learned I'm going to be talking to Gorgeous George tomorrow. We'll be having that coming down the line. Haven't heard that name in a while.
That's awesome, bro.
She's back. She's back on the scene with Damage Inc. Pro Wrestling in Rockford, Illinois. I'm broadcasting out there, so I got that going on and a whole lot more. I will be on stage in Antioch, Illinois, doing stand-up comedy this week. You guys can find the links over my Twitter. I'll post those later this week. What do you got going on with Rican's Wrestling, bud?
Thursday, man, we come back. We took a couple weeks off, and we'll be back this Thursday. We're going to be talking everything from AEW, WWE, everything, the weekend recap, everything that happened in the last 2 weeks. We're going to cover that. Plus, you can catch me every afternoon here in the Top Story, and then tomorrow night on the Debrief. We're going to come at a little earlier time, around 8 p.m. as opposed to 10, since tomorrow there's no Dynamite. We're going to be covering NXT. So go ahead and give us a check out. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go ahead and do that now. Smash that notification bell. And that way you never miss when we drop brand new content. Check out Kevin's viral video. 3 million plus views.
3.2.
Right? Check it out. 3.2. He's getting
mind you, it was on Facebook.
Global
so
recognition.
It's on
Kevin
Facebook.
You're getting global paparazzi getting Wrestle Talk talking about you, Fightful talking about you. You got.
I didn't do this alone. I have to shout out Avaroth, who edited that. Avaroth did an incredible job, and Aaron Alvar, our producer, who put that together. If you love top fives, we have a new binging channel just called Wrestle Binge. You'll see our top fives on our normal Sportskeeda wrestling channel, but just top 5 stuff we have there. If you're on YouTube, on Facebook, we post those all the time, but a lot of people checking it out. Go check out Wrestle Binge as well. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. If you haven't done already, go ahead and click the like. Go and jump into the comments below. For our on-demand viewers, we want to hear what you got to say too. So let us know what you think, and we'll jump into the comments and go back and forth with you. You want to call me an apologist or a bald dork? I saw that one last week. I'm down. I'm down to clown.
A bald dork.
Yeah. Also,
disrespectful.
Disrespectful. We're two bald dorks. That's what we are. You have to do the most important thing when you're watching this wrestling. It's really critical that you do it. Whether you're mad about who is on this show, whether you're mad about Tony Khan does not want me to be angry, or I am loyal to Vincent Kennedy. Stop it. All right, just calm. Take a breath. Hit that like button, subscribe, and enjoy wrestling.
Enjoy it.
Bye.